Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to another exciting session where we dive into the world of first language English. Exams are just around the corner. I'm sure you're already preparing to write your examinations. Today, we are going to lay the foundation for your exam preparation. In this video, we shall discuss about decoding the question paper, the blueprint, weightage to questions, and pattern of the question paper. I will also compare it with the last year's model question paper. So let us decode it together. First, you can see Karnataka Secondary Education Examination Board, Malleshwaram, Bangalore. The subject is First Language English, NCRT. Subject code will be 15E. Time 3 hours and 15 minutes. And you will have 100 marks to score. So let's dive into the pattern. The first thing we'll take a look is prioritization of objectives, or what is known as weightage to objectives commonly. When we talk about objectives in English, we have expression, comprehension, remembering, and appreciation. And correspondingly, we have percentage and marks, which are 39 percentage to 39 marks. Comprehension 36%, giving you 36 marks, and remembering 21 and 21 marks to score. Appreciation, you have 4% with 4 marks to score. Total, we have 100% with 100% marks. So students, it's important that you cover all the objectives while you are studying. Keep them in mind. Moving ahead, the second thing I would like to look into is prioritization of content or weightage to content. As you all know, content-wise, we have prose, poetry, supplementary reading, grammar and vocabulary, letter writing, an essay, and comprehension passage. Let's take a look at the marks allotted. For prose, you will score 28 marks, poetry 24, supplementary reader 15 marks, grammar and vocabulary with 19 marks, essay writing and letter writing and essay 10 marks, comprehension passage with 4 marks. In total, you have 100 marks. So this is something we'll have to know. Each student should understand that prioritization of content is very important before they prepare for their examination. Moving ahead, we will take a look at weightage to questions. In this, you will have type of questions, marks for each questions, and total. First thing that we'll have to take a look is multiple choice questions. You have 6 questions and you can score 1 mark for each, in total of 6 questions. Second thing we'll have to look into is analogy. You have 4 questions where you score 1 mark each, corresponding to 4 marks. Very short questions, or VSA as commonly known as, you will have 10 questions with 1 marks to score, and then total 10 marks. Short answer, you have 10 questions with 2 marks for each question, corresponding to 20 marks. Long answer 1, 2, and 3. With long answer 1, you will have 10 questions and 3 marks, where you score 30 marks. Take a look, that is the maximum marks you will be scoring in terms of marks scored when it comes to the types of questions. Then we have at number 6, long answer 2. You will have 5 questions with 4 marks, corresponding to 20 marks. And long answer 3 will be the last one with 2 questions, and you will score 5 marks, corresponding to 10 marks. All in all, we will have 47 questions and 100 marks to score. Dear students, you can pause the video and take a screenshot or to make a note of all of these. This will really help you to prepare well for your examination. Moving further, I would also like to discuss with you the weightage and difficulty level. The exam will have easy, average, and difficult as the difficulty level. And percentage of marks, for easy, you will have 30% of the questions which are easy, 50% of the questions which are average, which I think is really good, and I think it is just for the students as well. Difficult, you will have 20. So overall, it accounts to 100%, 100 marks that you will be looking into. We'll talk about distribution of marks according to the type of questions. Type of questions, you have multiple choice questions. I will compare this along with the question paper in the next slide. As we see, the first main that you will look into will be MCQs, or multiple choice questions. That will be into grammar and vocabulary, and you will have a total of 6 marks to score. Second one is analogy, as we have seen, 4 marks to score there again, which comes under grammar and vocabulary. VSA, or very short answers, where you will have to write answers in one sentence or two sentences at the max, will be covered in prose, poetry, supplementary reader, and grammar and vocabulary. It's spread across all of these important concepts. So you will get 10 marks to score over there. Short answers with two sentences, you will have 2 marks. uh, 2 questions from prose, and then you will score from 2 marks from poetry as well, supplementary reading, and then grammar and vocabulary. Finally, you will be scoring about 20 marks. Long answers, as we've seen earlier, also long answer 1, 2, and 3. So let's look into long answer 1. You will get questions from prose, poetry, and supplementary. Here, total corresponding to 30 marks. Long answer 2, you will have questions from prose again and poetry, and finally from comprehension, passage, and composition, where you will get one question, one passage of 4 marks, where you can score 4 marks in total, corresponding to 20 marks. Long answers, you will have 2 questions from comprehension, passage, and composition, where you will be writing a letter and an essay. You will have 2 questions, uh, where you will score 5 marks each, corresponding to total 10 marks over there. And as we can see, we'll be scoring about totally 100 marks. So students, this is something which is very important for students to understand, and it makes your preparation for the examinations much easier. Moving on ahead, I'll show you how the multiple choice questions will be. This screenshot I have taken from the question paper. It says 15E CCRF. This is the first one, that is multiple choice question. You will have 6 questions where you can score 1 mark each. This is the kind of question you will be looking into. 4 alternatives are given for each of the following questions. Incomplete statements. Only one of them is correct or most appropriate. Choose the correct alternative and write the complete answer along with its alphabet, letter of alphabet. So you will have 6 questions here to score, and you will have to choose the correct answers, where options will be given. So what are the topics? Let's take a look at it. Some of the questions that you get asked in multiple choice questions: you will have question tags, you will have articles, the correct form of verb, types of clauses: noun clause, adjective, adverb, main clause or principal clause or independent clause, and dependent clause or subordinate clause. So you will have to focus on these kind of questions. Then you will have phrasal verbs, and then tense forms. Moving ahead, the next question you can see here will be from figure of speech. You will have to identify the figure of speech. Some of them are simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, oxymoron, hyperbole, irony. All these are some of the figures of speech that you will have to read. So another question that gets asked here will be about language functions. So what are language functions? Language functions help us to understand for the purpose of the language. For example, here you have disagreeing. I put an example for each of them, so let's try and read them out. Disagreeing example: I see your point, but I don't quite agree with that perspective. So here you see you are disagreeing, but you're disagreeing with respect. Here you're not totally saying in a negative tone. It's a really good example of this. And then let's look into contrasting ideas. While online education is convenient, traditional classrooms provide better social interactions. This example gives you a really good idea about contrasting ideas, where you agree with the first one and then you also put out your own opinion in the second half of this sentence. Then you have making complaint. Example: I'm sorry, but the service today was much slower than usual. Then you have asking for information. Example: could you tell me where the nearest ATM is located? Giving advice. Example: you should consider practicing meditation. It helps with the stress. Guessing example, I'm not sure, but I think he might be at the library. Moving ahead, we have some more for you. At 7, we have being imprecise or vague. Example, I'll get back to you sometime next week. You're not exactly telling when, you are just saying sometime next week. So that is being vague or imprecise. Saying no nicely. Example, I appreciate the offer, but I'll have to pass this time. You're saying no, but you're saying it very nicely so that you don't offend the person that you're talking to. Showing preference, I would rather go for a walk than watch a movie tonight. So here you show preference that you want to go for a walk. Making suggestions. Example, how about we meet for coffee at 3 p.m.? Here you're making a suggestion. Offering help. Would you like me to carry that for you? Warning example, be careful, the floor is slippery after the rain. So you're warning somebody of the floor being slippery. Demanding, I need you to submit the report by tomorrow morning. Something that you might have heard your teachers tell you when it comes to submitting of your assignments and assessments. Last one, giving explanation examples, I missed the meeting because my car broke down on the way. So these are some of the examples that I've curated for you. They'll ask you the example, and then you will have to say what language function does the sentence serve. So that's something we'll have to learn. And moving further, you have the second important main, that is analogy. This is the question screenshot which I've taken from one of the model question papers. It says, observe the relationship between the first pair of words and complete the second pair accordingly in the following. So you will get 4 marks to score here. Question number 7 and 8, as you can see, it says night and then by and what it corresponds to. Deep and shallow, forestation, and the next one. Dear students, I would not want to go deeply into this because I've already made a video. I'll put the link of this video in the description below. Kindly take a look at it, and I've given enough ample examples, and there's a worksheet that you also get to solve at the end of this video. I'm sure once you go through this, you will be able to score your 4 marks without any problem. Moving ahead for the next type of questions that we come across in the question paper, you will have very short answers for 10 marks. In this, you will have grammar, 3 questions where you score 3 marks, question answers, 7 questions where you get to score 7 marks. Let's take a look at this in question paper. Here it is. Rewrite as directed is always the third main that you see. Question 11, 12, and 13. It says she sings melodiously. So what you have to do, you will have to frame a question to get the underlined word as answer. Change the voice of the given sentence. I've written a story. And then use the following word as verb in your own sentence or the book. Moving further in this very same main, when it comes to grammar, for 3 marks, you may get change of voice, framing question, transformation of sentence, could be a negative into assertive, assertive into negative, and assertive into exclamatory. Any one of these could be asked for this question. And also using of a phrase or word in your own sentence as a noun or a verb. That's exactly what we saw in the previous slide. Moving further, we do have answer the following questions. This is how you're going to see it in your question paper. And you will get questions from prose, poetry, and supplementary reader. So we need to be aware of all these: prose, poetry, and supplementary. So moving further, you have short answers here. This is how it looks in the question paper. Answer the following questions in 2 to 3 sentences each. You will get 7 into 2, that is 14 marks to score. Here also you will be asked questions on prose and poetry and supplementary reader. Moving further, you do have this grammar rewrite as directed for 3 marks, where 3 questions for 6 marks, and you usually get it for question 28, 29, and 30. Change the following sentences into indirect or reported speech. Combine the sentences using so that or to and to, and change the following sentence into the other 2 degrees of comparison. And what is it that we can expect? We can expect reported speech here, degrees of comparison, as soon as and no sooner than. We have to use sentences with this, and then remove to and to, and use of so, that, not, and transformation of simple, compound, and complex sentences will be asked for this 6 marks. As we move further for long answer 1 or 3 marks question, we will have 6 questions, 3 marks corresponding to 18 marks at all. In your question paper, it will appear something like this: answer the following questions in 5 to 6 sentences each. So you get about 6 into 3, 18 marks to score. Let me tell you, here you will have to write answers. You will have to describe the answers. You will have to write the answers in about 5 to 6 sentences at least. Explain your question as best as possible. Put out your point on the question paper so that you score maximum number of marks here. Do not lose out any marks. Again, questions ranging from prose, poetry, and supplementary reader will be asked in this particular main. You will have 18 marks to score. I think this is where you will have to score the maximum number of marks. Questions are easy, and show your skill in writing these questions. As we move further to reference to context, also known as RCs, explain with reference to context. This is how it will appear in the question paper. You will have 4 questions and you will get 3 marks for each. Students should answer these questions. You will have to provide the reference, which chapter this sentence belongs to, who is the author of this, and then you will have to write the context where it appears in the chapter. I'm sure you have practiced these kind of questions too. Moving further, students, you'll take a look at quote from the memory. This is one question which you will never miss in your examination, and you will have to answer this quote from the memory. 2 poems are usually asked here. Take a look at it. Do not lose marks on this. Never ever lose marks on this. As we move further, long answer 2 or 4 marks questions. 3 questions into 4 marks. You will have 12 marks to score. Prose, you can write any one of the 2 questions. Choice is given. And poetry, write any one of the 2. Again, you will have a choice to write. This is how it will appear on 10th main. Answer the following questions in 7 to 8 sentences each. So you will have questions and a choice. Do write it. Do not miss out on this. You will get 4 marks for these questions and 12 marks overall to score. And finally, we have a passage reading and answer. Read the passage and answer. You will see in question paper something like this. Read the following passage carefully and answer the questions given below. People talk of memorials to him in the statues of bronze or marble. This is one example paragraph which is taken. At the end of it, you will have 2 questions here. You will be scoring 2 marks for each question, 2 plus 2. This is something which we can never miss. Just like the poetry section, we know what poems are going to come. We'll have to by heart them and write. In the same way, the answers for these questions is just present in the paragraph. Do not miss out on this as well. So this is easy scoring, which is really unique to the language subjects. Coming almost to the end of the question paper, we have long answers, 3 or 5 marks questions. Here you might see the question like this in your question paper. Write an essay of about 18 to 20 sentences on any one of the following topics. You can see topics vary in each examination. Most of the time, what I've seen one of the topics will be from the current affairs, usually what's happening around the globe or in India. You will have to be aware of that. Get to know the pattern of writing an essay. Make sure you use proper punctuation marks. Make sure you write in paragraph style. Also put out in points, and make sure you are aware of using the right terms and vocabulary in your essay, and you will easily score these 5 marks which are there out for you. This again, moving to the next question, and I think it's the last part of it. You will have a letter writing. Again, you will have a choice. This is how it will appear in your examinations. You will end up writing a formal or informal letter. It on various topics, but if you observe, one of the question is formal, another one is informal. So that's something really nice. You can practice both of them, but I'm telling you that be the master of at least one. You practice formal properly, or you practice informal letter properly, where you can score good marks. Look into the content, or whichever you think is easier and gives you a broad horizon. That one is something you can write, whichever you're comfortable with. So, students, this is what your blueprint is. Question paper looks like. Do take a screenshot or write down everything before you prepare for your examination, and I'm sure you will score well. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.